Hello everyone, I hope you guys can hear me and see me now. I'm gonna keep an eye on the chat here, it's gonna be on my right. How is everyone doing? Gonna give a couple more minutes just to be able to come in, but while we're waiting, you can keep talking, ask questions. Oh no, the head is it's always been here with me. I am good, thanks for asking. Yeah, I'm thinking of making more of these hats for if you guys want it. But for now I have just one, and I really like it actually. It's pretty cool. Let me see if we. Oh, I forgot to post on Patreon. Of course, it's our main. Salve Edu, brasileiro. Create post. No, actually, link. What do you guys usually prefer, Twitch or YouTube? I did forget to change the name by the way, so it looks like Game Fundamentals Check-in. That was that was my bad. Everyone has Google account, that is a good point. Either is fine. Yeah, it will be saved either way, and it will be on Patreon as well. And I believe on YouTube it keeps saved. On Twitch, I don't think it keeps saved on Twitch. Mm. What are you guys thinking about the game modules? I'm having a lot of fun, and we're gonna start the game too, so that will be very exciting as well. I like that we actually can play the game and it's not just making assets, which is also not bad, but I feel like other game courses, you just make the asset and then you export like a playlist from Maya. But this one we actually can play and see how it feels. It's pretty cool. Alright, so I feel like we can slowly start now. Soft start. I do have a presentation prepared somewhere here. So today it's gonna be a quick stream. I will announce a few things now. This is recorded. Whoever is watching later, it's cool announcements. Make sure to check it out. And then I'm gonna drop in into the Discord. I'll go on the stream chat, and we can you can ask questions and stuff. Just for a little bit. I don't wanna take too much of your time on this Saturday. It's just like a more casual, informal stream, and I don't just wanna. Why is there homework here? And I just wanna announce this new tier that we're coming up on Patreon. That's gonna be the Diamond Animator. So what is this tier about. Now let me share my screen. Make this pretty. Cool. I'm gonna put my camera here on the other side, a little smaller. So, Diamond Animator. What is this Diamond Animator about? That's gonna be a new tier that has, because of the ask, a lot of people are asking me more for a feedback and actual like one-on-one classes, live feedback, or even not live feedback, but just more like personal feedback. So that hopefully will help us to get more people with feedback, still keeping an eye on like the high quality that we always try to achieve. I also love diamonds. And yeah, hello Blaze. Cool to see you here participating. So this new tier, what is gonna include? Everything from Animator 3, which is not a surprise, all the Discord access like everyone, the bonus lectures, the Unreal Engine projects, all the source files, same same old, especially with the new module starting. We're gonna have a new Unreal project because we're gonna set up other things. So you're gonna have access to this project as well. And now we start getting into the exclusive things. The price I'm gonna talk about it in the end, by the way. So exclusive weekly classes. So once a week, we're gonna have a class. It's gonna be live, and it's gonna be a Q&A about the lecture. So once a week, we're gonna meet. Just so you guys know, this is not one-on-one. It's gonna be a class structure. So it's gonna have a limit of how many people can sign up. The limit is 5, so we're gonna have at most 5 animators on a class, but we're gonna have weekly encounters. We're gonna have a Discord classroom with daily conversations on the classroom channel just for the Diamond members. So we're gonna have a separate for whoever is VIP. You understand the structure. There's like a separate channel that we can interact more and discuss more, but that's gonna be a little bit different where because we're gonna have a set schedule, which is like down here, because we're gonna have a set schedule of classes, the classroom is gonna be more daily activity. We're gonna have a working time together. So the classroom, we're gonna like pick an assignment, pick a time, and like everyone is gonna work together. It's very similar to a classroom, like you're actually taking a class and working with your classmates. And we're gonna have also some bonus challenges. Like if we're working on something, someone has more time, is a little more ahead, we're gonna have some bonus challenge for like every other week. I still didn't figure out all the bonus challenge, but we're gonna have depending on the attendance. And this is gonna be a set schedule of classes. We're gonna follow along the new module. So it's gonna be the Diamond Animator is gonna be open for 3 months, which is like 12 weeks of the module. So only those 12 weeks we're gonna have Diamond Animators. I mean, of course, next module we're gonna have a new batch of Diamond Animators, or if you wanna stay and make the new module, it's gonna be the same structure. But the idea is like it is like a class. So you sign up, you have week 1, week 2, week 3, week 12, you wrap, and then it's over. And you can sign up for a different class. After week 12, we're gonna have 1 week break, and then we start another class. I'm trying to make this in terms. So you're gonna have a follow along with the module and with the classroom. So every week you have an assignment, we have a deadline for that assignment, and then we move forward for the next assignment. It's not gonna be like right now we have the plan where it's a little bit more freeform, where you can just do what you want and like jump in between different assignments. This is gonna be a very structured, very specific schedule. And yeah, your prediction was right. Cool. So let's go over the Game Fundamentals 2 Intro to Game Animation Plus. What is the plan? The plan is a character intro first. Is gonna be very heavily focused on animation, this module, less into implementation. We're gonna get into implementation after half of the module. So the first half is gonna be just about animation, and we're gonna do like a cool character intro shot. You know, like several games has it, but the one that I can remember right now is like Wild Rift, where like the character like comes in, does something cool, and then strikes a pose. The idea of implementation for this, it's gonna be we implement before our game starts. So we open the game, the character starts, does something, and then the camera comes out, and then we start our side scroller. So that is the idea. Setting, but we're gonna make in Maya like make custom cameras. We're gonna do like the whole thing about how to bring a camera, redo the camera in Unreal, etc., etc. So that is gonna be our main exercise for this module. We're gonna spend 6 weeks into really polishing this. This piece is gonna be about, I'm guessing like about 10 to 12 seconds long. But we're of course we're gonna plan together, etc. So that's gonna be like a very heavy animation acting shot. Uh, so no worries if you're on previous modules still, right? It depends because this one you're gonna have like a classroom, and it depends on what you wanna focus. If you really wanna focus on this module and really like, okay, this module I really wanna do this, it's gonna be worth it. And then you can just like, oh, I'm not gonna do the next module, but I'm gonna do it like following on my own time. My plan is to release this for previous modules as well, the same structure where the classes are recorded already and you just have the classroom experience. But for now, I'm trying with this module. It's gonna be like live, where it the whole goal is like live. Every week we have a new lecture, and every we have like the classroom, and whoever wants to attend previous modules, they can just follow along like AF5, and also have the same classroom experience, but the lectures are all pre-recorded. So that's for the future, but that will be like the same formats. Can other people without Diamond Skill watch these lectures? Yes, all the lectures will be still posted on Patreon for every member. It's the same thing if you are Animator 1. Like I said, I'm never gonna charge extra for the content. It's always gonna be available for everyone. That was always my goal with Patreon, just education being affordable for everyone. But of course, if you're part of this tier, you're gonna have a lot more engagement with this lecture and really following along. But yes, it's kind of like an animation school. It is more on the animation school formats. So back to the planning here. So week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7, we're gonna have this character intro, especially between week 6 and 7. It's gonna be a lot of engine back and forth and polishing, but we're gonna go like how to best implement this in our game, how to make it like look nice in game and not just like a piece in Maya, how to customize the set as well, like if we want to make like a nice environment, etc., etc. No, don't worry that you're late, John. And then the second half of this module, we're gonna start making the game more playable. So we're gonna put a hit react, and hopefully we're even gonna put a hit react on an enemy. We're gonna have a death animation and double jump animation on our character. So our game, for whoever is following Game Fundamentals 1, we're gonna continue the same game, but we're gonna have hit react, death animation, jump, double jump, and with that, I think we can make like a full playable level if we have all these elements, because you can do like a level design where like the character needs to jump, and if you jump wrong, the character falls and die and respawn, or you have like an AI enemy, which I'm probably gonna talk a little bit about during these weeks, where the enemy is there, the enemy attacks you, and if you don't defend, you die, and you can attack with just they made like the heavy attacks and the light attacks. So we're gonna talk about all of this implementation and actually making the game. So the idea is, if we run our game, we export this game. Is gonna be like an installer file. We run our game. There's a cool character intro, and then we start playing the game where the character walks around on that environment, attacks an enemy, jump, double jump between things. We have like a few blocks for like the challenge, and then there's an endpoint where the game finishes and you won the level. So that will be the goal for the end of this module, to have like a little game playable for everyone. Cool. So for now, that is the structure of the module, and that is the structure of the, for whoever lost, I'm gonna go back here, of the diamond animator with those different benefits. So the different thing is, because it's gonna be a classroom, I really want this to be like a very personal classroom experience, because I really miss when I was studying and I actually had the time to be there studying with other people and asking and trying new things. Like, oh, the lecture was about this. Let's take, I don't know, like 2 hours here on the working time together, even if it's just the class when I'm not there, because for me, I'm managing my time between several different things, but I'll try to participate as much as I can on the working together time. But if I can't, even like the classroom working together, like, oh, the lecture was like this, let's try to implement an enemy on our game. There's this tutorial, and I'll be always on daily conversations with the members, like, hey, check it out, this how cool it is, this tutorial on YouTube, maybe we can follow, and then we can just replace the animation side, etc., etc. And I think it would be really cool also for the networking, because this group can bond really well. They can make the projects together, like two animators, just like, oh, what if we make like this project together and we have like two characters and we can just like switch the characters, or you take care of this, I take care of this. It's a really like collaborative classroom, really having the feeling of being on a classroom. What about the enemy? I don't know who will be the enemy for this class. No, I'm joking. I don't have plans yet on the schedule here, but I will talk about like the enemy, like how to make an enemy there. Characters are cool. I'll catch up with the module as soon as possible. Yes, this module is coming out in a few weeks, so we still have time, because this Monday we have the last class for our Game Fundamentals 1, that is week 12. Next week we're gonna have more like a chill week. I'm gonna talk everything about GDC. I'm gonna record a lot of stuff in GDC, and I'm gonna make like a whole GDC talk for everyone. And then the week after that, hopefully, is our start week. We'll implement the game intro into Unreal 5. Yes, we're gonna be using Unreal 5.3. We are using 5.3 already on Game Fundamentals 1, so we're gonna keep using Unreal 5.3. Cool. Now, that is the coolest thing, is get really excited, get hype, because that is the biggest announced. For all the Diamond animators, we're gonna have our exclusive character. So we have Astoria, daughter of the wind, spirit of the wolf. This is her first proxy. She is rigged already, like game ready rig, and she is gonna be in our game. Like the game is gonna be made with her. Everyone's gonna have access to her. She's exclusive. It's still in proxy. We're still like tweaking models, tweaking rig, but she will be ready for the classes as soon as we start. And this is really cool. So all the exercise of the model is gonna be made with her, and she is game ready already in Unreal Engine. This proxy version, she's gonna have like an armor, more like a warrior look, but this is gonna be exclusive for like the diamond animators. And I'm also gonna open the access for all the platinum animators, so they can also test it out the rig. But this rig is gonna be very like exclusive for us to use on this classroom. So this is really cool. I'm working hard on making her like look nice and being game ready. So everything we did on GF1, Game Fundamentals 1, I'm gonna probably redo with her to make the game playable with this character and not use Killfiggin's melee that we're using right now, because I want the game to be fully owned by us. So this is the biggest announcement, and I have her open in Maya here, which I'm gonna share very soon. But that is pretty much how this structure is gonna work. I believe this is the end. Yeah. About pricing, I forgot to make a slide about the price. I always forget about pricing stuff and how much is worth it, how much is fair. I'll like to have actually I have a number in mind, but I'll really like everyone's opinion on how much you think will be a worth price for this structure. Just to get a general feel of whoever is online here. Class will be every week. Yes. What's Challenger? Challenger is not there yet, but it will be you teaching me. No, I'm joking. I don't know what Challenger will be yet. It will be each. The price is each. We can't split because imagine if someone is paying for someone else and then this other person drops and then you're still paying for them and it just cause more complications. While your guys are replying, I'm gonna pull her up here in Maya. Like I said, rig's still in progress, but exciting. And I think she will be really cool even to do like parkour shots, mechanic shots. I think overall she's gonna be a really fun character to animate. And she's gonna have like an armor and stuff. Don't worry about like how the clothes are working right now. I don't have any ideas about pricing. Yeah, it is hard because my goal is to make affordable for everyone. I don't wanna just go like, yeah, and this is gonna be I don't know however much a school would charge, but like feels like a lot for me. I want to just make it as affordable as I can. Well, no one's saying anything. The price will range on what the platinum membership is right now. Yeah, I thought about the pricing already. It's gonna be on the range of the platinum membership right now. Probably a little bit more because a weekly. So it's between platinum and academy for whoever was here before when academy was still available. So it's gonna range between what platinum or academy is. So no more than $300, no less than $200 per month, but it's a 3-month commitment. So just remember that. And of course, if I have like five, the less students will be signed up. If it's just like one person, the tier is not gonna be uh, like not worth it, but like how you call substantial enough. So hopefully this is for like a full classroom. If I feel like it's a low attendance and people are not really, of course it's first time, it's gonna be different. But in the future, if I feel like it's just like one or two signing up, I'm gonna rethink, restructure, and both price and like X structure. So we'll see. But that is the range right now. Two to $300 per person per month on 3-month module, which I think it's fair based on our other pricing, not comparing to the industry because I do know a 3-month module it's about 400 to 500 a month in other schools. So it's still yeah the schools that I remember on the top of my head is like 400 to 600 a month for a 3 month, even more sometimes. So that's what I have in my mind. 400 is like actually the lowest one I can think, and 650, 700 per month, and it would be In my opinion, it would be better because the class size is smaller instead of being a class of 10 where you just get like 5 minutes attention on your shot or 10 minutes attention. So it's like a, for me, I think it's like it's a good idea. Uh, Nothing else on the chat, so let's jump in on Maya here and we can take a look on the character. The rig is still in progress. We're still tweaking a few things, especially like skinning. This is just the first version, but we still have like a few weeks until it gets ready. But it's a very good like mechanics rig for those who know about Advanced Skeleton. This is mainly rigged with Advanced Skeleton, but we have like everything we need, like stretchy legs, IKFK. The deformations are pretty good. We're gonna have this big sword, which is really cool as well. It's like such a nice element. And shoulders, the shoulder armor here will also have some controllers. Because it's game, the hair is gonna be just one FK chain, but we can also look into make dynamics in game, and then we can split this in a few chains. But for now, it's just gonna be one big FK chain. And then the head. There's no face on this version yet. It's coming later today. They're just the eyes. But yeah, that is pretty much it. IK spine, FK spine, the hips, but it's pretty much ready to go. She's a little bit high poly right now. We're also tweaking that. I think the body's okay for our game. Let me position her back. But I think the face, the hair, the eyelashes are a little bit high poly. So we're gonna reduce the cloth here. We're gonna reduce the amount of polys on some of stuff so the game is not too heavy. She's gonna be more on the low poly side. And yeah, that is super excited to animate her. I'm gonna have to redo the whole GF1 with her. So I'm gonna do idle, walks, and I'm planning on making some bonus videos about that, like my process reanimating using her and things like this. Uh, if I miss something, what will be the learning topics for Diamond tier? Because there will be other students and should have different learning topics. Yeah, so we'll have this is gonna be our module structure here. And on the classroom, we're gonna have like challenge, like different challenges for the classroom, and that will be decided after I know the size of the classroom and the engagement. So it is to be decided what's gonna be extra, but we'll be following this because the whole idea, like I was saying, is having the diamond tier expand to other pre-recorded modules as well. So someone can take just like AF4, that is the advanced body mechanics, and also have the same diamond structure where you have a classroom, you have classmates, you have work time, you have some bonus challenge, and you have the lectures to follow along. So this will be like the lectures for the module, and then inside the bonus challenge and the daily conversations is where we're gonna make a little bit more. And it's very similar to like when I took classes in the past, even like back in Brazil learning 3D Max, we had the material like written on a book, and then we had like the mentor just saying like, hey, today actually we're gonna make this using these techniques, but we're gonna make this. So this is gonna be very like a lot more personal with the mentor, in case like with me, like with the teacher, where he's gonna personalize for each class group. Uh, what is the difference between a normal rig and a game ready rig? The game ready rig you can import in Unreal and you can export from Maya to Unreal or Unity and the structure of the rig works in game. The same you see in Maya, you can see in game. And compared to a feature film rig, where a lot of the systems usually don't work in game because of the way it's done. So it's just like and also like the amount of polys. If it's too high poly, it gets too heavy. So the rig has to be made ready to be used in a game whenever you want to have like a game rig compared to a feature film rig. Everything I see online is around $1,000. Yeah, that is a lot too. Then the thoughts on Sora animation. Try to animators. Nope, not concerned about Sora. I don't think it's a threat. So if you guys want, let's jump in into Discord. Whoever wants to ask any questions, I will be there on the Discord stream chat. So just feel free to jump in there and then we can talk. And I'm gonna leave this here. And you don't need to go there. We can keep on the chat as well. But yeah, that is the announcement, the big announcement, the diamond tier. It will be live in 2 weeks. So how long is the Q&A lecture for diamond? That is gonna depend on the class size. It's gonna be as long as is needed to answer all the questions. That's usually how I do. It depends on the size of the classroom, but I wouldn't take more than 2.5 hours, I believe. If we have like a full classroom with five, I think 2.5 hours will be the ideal time. If we have a classroom with two, probably about an hour. So it's gonna depend on the classroom size, but usually it's as long as it's needed to be all the questions to be answered, everything to be done on that time. Jay, I'm currently doing AF5. How do you recommend us to approach the old modules to catch up with GF1? So the A and the G tracks are separate tracks. So GF1 is the same as like it's a basics track going into the game routes, and the AF track, like AF1 and AF5, it's a feature film track, so they're like two different tracks. If you want to start with GF1, you can start here from the basic, and it's like GF1, GF2, or if you want to start on the feature track, AF track, you can start with AF5 because we did like kind of like Star Wars, like we start with the 5 and then we go back to 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we go back like 1. You can do like 1, 2, 4. You can always like ask me like, hey, what is the best approach here? I want to start. I will tell like, oh, I start with AF5, then jump into this one. But you don't need to catch up to the current one because it's gonna be on split trees. If you wanna be a game animator, you can go from like GF1, GF2, and you finish GF1, GF2. There's a feature that you can go to like body mechanics, like basic body mechanics, advanced body mechanics. That is still on the feature track, but a lot of the concepts are applied to game. But if you want to be a game animator, you can focus on GF1, GF2. You want to be a feature animator, you can do AF1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and like, oh, it's just game stuff now. GF2, the whole first half is gonna be applied to feature animators as well. So you can do like GF2 because you did all the other ones, and our next module is gonna be feature focus. So the AF6 is coming after GF2. So that's where you can like split and you can like catch up with the time. And that's why I want to open the classroom for other pre-recorded modules as well, because we can go in the collections and then have a classroom like a diamond classroom where people just like follow along. I don't know, AF3. And then we have like the weekly encounters, we have like the following on the homeworks and stuff like that. I am a senior animator at Riot right now. Yes. Riot Games, senior animator. League of Legends, working on the new champs creation. It's a very good mix of technical stuff with uh, animation stuff. Nice, yeah, I'm excited to see all this stuff from GF1. Yes, it's okay for you to go to GF1, GF2. You don't need to go back to AF1 because the tracks are kind of split. So, yeah, so those are very good questions. Feel free, always feel free to just like go on Discord, talk about it, ask if you want like a specific guide. Another thing that I think would be a good idea is like having a guide for people who just sign up. So you just sign up, you join a channel where you say what your goals are, and then I'm gonna just like sort it out for you. Like, okay, you should take this, 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 and this on this order. I'll probably get someone to do that with me, where it's more, I do need someone to help with like replying and more engagement. So hopefully I can get someone soon. But yeah, but very exciting about the rig. I'm very excited to do the game story adventures and just make like a 2D side scroller game. I'm gonna start making an idol with her, putting in game and redo the whole Unreal project that we did with Melly, but with her. I found some on Unreal Marketplace. I found some like cool sets. They're paid, but I think it would be worth it to just like buy a set so you can have a lot of props so you don't need to model everything or find it online somewhere. So that would be very exciting. And for the source files, everyone's gonna receive the source files, but if we're using this rig, it means that unfortunately only the diamond animators will be able to open the source files. So animator 2, you also gonna have access, but it's not really, I guess, yeah. Maybe I'll make a proxy version of her for everyone just so you can see the animations, but it's not in my plans yet. I need to finish this one first. I'm learning Unity and C Sharp now. With GF1, I can make a complete game. That is the idea. For now, you cannot buy the rig separately. I'm keeping it exclusive for students. In the future, I thought about just like releasing the rig as an extra, but the main thing right now that I don't want to just like sell the rig is that I want to control the final quality and I want like all the animations from this rig to be on a certain standards. That's why I'm keeping it to everyone that has access to record the reviews. I'm considering opening to VIP Plus members, not regular VIP, just VIP Plus, Silver and Platinum, because I have a better control of like the back and forth of notes and how we can push the quality. Because I don't want the rig to just fall on like the web and everyone starts using, and I don't have any licensing stuff on her. So if you send the file to someone else, it just starts spreading, and then it just becomes like a meaningless rig because there's so much. I want to keep like a certain quality bar on it. Yes, it's on the plans, John. Animation Flow t-shirts, cool t-shirts, hats, mugs, whatever. I'm still looking what is the best option for worldwide shipping to make like a cool merch star. It is on the plans. Does it make sense to have a resource file if we can't see the character? No, it does not. That's why the Animator 2 right now it's a little bit outdated with the new structure because we also like need to understand how Patreon is evolving. It's like a living thing. It's not a set thing that I thought I started a little more than 2 years ago, like 2 years and a month. And with the structure kept evolving. That's why some of the tiers is starting getting obsolete. For example, Animator 2, they have access to the source file, but what is the point if you don't have the rig? That's why I'm considering building a proxy rig of her just with like very proxy geometry, just so you can open the file, understand like what happened on the curves and stuff, but you wouldn't be able to animate with a proxy rig, for example. But yes, I do agree that that was one of my concerns. Like, yeah, but now like this doesn't make sense. That's why Animator 3 has access to the Unreal project because that doesn't matter the rig. But I cannot just put like give the Unreal project for Animator 2 because that will be an unfair thing for Animator 3. It's hard. It's hard to manage all the different variables on on this, but I totally agree. And yeah, like feel free to always bring those concerns. Like, yeah, I signed up to Animator 2. It's not worth anymore. It's true. It's unfortunate. Still, like you have access to like the sync sketch links and like the planning files, like video reference. I still put there like video reference. You can use video reference and stuff like that. It still has its value, but and I think Animator 2 is the best way to support if you want to like actually support the growth of the channel instead of just Animator 1. But it is, I get your point of like it doesn't make sense if I can open the file. That's why I'm trying to find ways to make that work. Oh yeah, homework on previous lessons. It's also like one of the big things as well. How deep needs to be the knowledge of rigging and modeling of a game animator? I don't think you need to have any knowledge on rigging and modeling, but it's gonna depend on the studio. I do know indie studios for game, they do ask the animator to rig, and a lot of job description they ask like a little bit of rigging knowledge, but bigger the studio, more focus you get, and there is no really a need. Like I never had to model or rig anything in my whole animation career, and I'm working with games. But I know Riot is very like it's a big company, so it's the structure is very figure out. And I know indie companies they would ask you to rig, which I don't think it will be like extremely difficult if you use like an auto rig tool. I don't think you need to be like a specialist. I think it's more valuable actually to have engine knowledge than rig. That's why I do have like a lot of engine knowledge, which is also like not like an complete ask depending on the studio you go. A lot of the studios I met game animators that they don't really know anything about Unreal and they still like really good game animators. So I feel that is more valuable engine knowledge, but it's gonna depend on the studio, of course. Uh, I don't want to take diamond, but I would like to use this rig. Yeah, I know. I'm also thinking about that, but I took the decision for the reasons I told, and we'll see. Maybe in the future it's gonna change, but for now, hmm, cool. Thanks. Yeah, so this will be live soon. I hope we have like a good class structure. I hope we have like a
Hello.
lot of people.
Hello.
Hello.
I got a question. What do you say about the recent layoffs? Do you think that indie studios are like more a safer option?
That's a great question. Uh, just for everyone else that is not on the string chat on Discord, Nikita is asking, what do I think about the recent layoffs if its indie studios are a safer option? I think the recent layoffs are pretty bad. Yes, it's happening everywhere. I just saw Cartoon Brew posted something about like a DreamWorks layoff, like about 50% of the studio, which is huge. And indie studios, they might be a safer option for now, yes. I do believe the industry is gonna come back, not maybe not so soon, but like in a few months, like 3 6 months, studios gonna start getting like start hiring again because the demand for content didn't go down. It was more like a tax, inflation, other factors. They're they're contributing to that. So I think it's just like a phase on the industry. And even the problem in the studio is that they can like shut down like out of nowhere. Like you're working and then one day like, hey, we don't have the sponsorship anymore. I did have like a few students, I think two. They were working and they're like, oh, my studio just shut down, and it was like an indie studio. So it's hard. Like the safer option, it's always like have your work on the best quality standard as you can, and don't worry about like factors that you cannot control, because I think that is like the reality. Like if I got laid off at Riot, or if I were still working at DreamWorks and got laid off, what I could do would just like put my reel out online and look for a job, and hopefully I would have some opportunity because my reel is gonna be on a high standard. And if I'm like not worrying too much about having my work and just like working, I'm working at Riot but not doing anything really nice and just doing whatever I'm asked. When I if this happens to me, I'll have a harder time to find something on the industry. Do you see any future for 3D animators with AI and layoffs? I actually, that is a great question because I I do see, I understand the concern, but I think there are two ways to look at it. One is AI and layoffs, what they're gonna do to people who are starting right now. First, you can think, oh, I'm not gonna have a space in the industry. There are too many talented people with experience available, and AI is taking over the jobs, so it's not gonna have a space for me. It's totally valid. It's a total valid point, but a lot of people don't think about the other point, the other side of this point, where AI is gonna be regulated at some point. It's gonna be regulated, and it won't be able to be used as much as people are thinking. It's just gonna be used as a tool. AI is not gonna be as good as everyone's expecting it to be in terms of iteration and really doing something specific. So it will still be used, but as a tool. And the layoffs, all these people are gonna find jobs because if you're really talented and if you're really good and you got laid off, you're gonna find a job soon, right? So imagine like a lot of startups, smaller studios, and a lot of like outsource, a lot of like of the high positions gonna be taken by those people. All these people who got laid off, if there's a demand back in the game or and film industry, and those big studios need to hire the same amount that got laid off, they will not be able to get the same people because they found a job because they are on the top of the industry. So for them, will be easier than someone that is studying to find a job. So they will be taken already, and the industry will be needing more people to be working on those positions. So that happened. It's not the first time like the layoffs. It's not the first time that this happens. I remember that happened, and that was the opportunity that I got to go to DreamWorks because the industry had a very big low. I was still in Canada, and then DreamWorks, for example, they had to hire 13 animators when I started there. They had 10 hired already until they got to my name because those 10 were people from like Disney, Pixar, returning people from DreamWorks. So they had like a pool of artists that they were gonna already hire. And then like they had like three spots for people that they gave like opportunity for fresh animators because when they saw my reel, I I think I only had like a shot from Hotel Transylvania. I was like one movie on my reel compared to people who work like one guy that got hired with me at the same time. He worked on Lion King before in his career. So that's where like newer people in the industry starts getting opportunity. And then after me, I remember some people got hired there. that were just finishing up on Animation Mentor, for example. And that was a phase where like there were a lot of hirings, and that was in 2018. And then the first wave of layoffs happened where I could go to Riot, and now there's like another wave of layoffs happening, both at Riot and DreamWorks. So it's like going down, and soon it's gonna go again. But all these people that are getting laid off here, they're gonna be taking like senior director, supervisor positions on a lot of like smaller studios, and then those big studios gonna need more resource. And the AI is like a great question, but it's not, I don't think it's nothing to worry at the time. I think, like I say, I think this is gonna be similar to motion capture, where it's gonna be used as a tool, and it's gonna, I, th- my hope and my goal with AI is being able to do more content of better quality, because you guys have no idea how much bad quality it is out there in the industry, and I think that's gonna kind of like normalize the quality where everything is gonna be a little bit better with the help of AI, but it doesn't mean that you're gonna like replace one animator. Of course, maybe the amount of animators on a team instead of 20 is gonna be 10. Yeah, but then the content, like so much content will be needed, because and there will be like three different teams with 10 animators instead of one team with 20, for example. That's what I think about like this whole thing. I'm not concerned if one day I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm concerned because of this. We're gonna make another stream. We're gonna talk about it, and I'm always gonna be like ready, like future proof is what we call ready for the future. Like if there's a new AI tool, like for example Sora, I do want to sign up for Sora and start testing it out to see really like, okay, how this can be really used on a studio production. How can this replace me if it can replace? If not, how can I use this to improve my work? If I can do either of this, okay, I don't need to worry about it. If I can, I'm gonna start getting ready and getting prepared of like how to use that in my advantage in the future. Cool. I hope that answers your question, but it is a hot team right now. I think it's nothing to worry, and I will always be on top. I'm always on top of like every new technology to make sure it's we're like catching up and not getting surprised. It's the same like imagine we were like in the past, and then I just heard like, oh, 3D animation, and I'm teaching 2D animation for, and all you guys are 2D animators. I think I'll be like, oh, I think 3D animation is gonna be the future. We should start making a module into 3D animation, still keep the 2D animation classes going, but let's try to adapt into like getting some stuff in 3D animation to start getting ready. And that will be like a good shift from like if we had like the same community of Patreon, like with 300 subscribers there on the free tier where you can have access. I'll make like stream and video like, hey, I think this is good. We're gonna make a module because of this, and there will be a resistance from some people like, oh no, that's not real animation. That is CG animation. Real animation is 2D, blah blah. But that would prepare for like years later how 3D took over on top of 2D, and a lot of 2D there's still like a few 2D jobs here and there, but a lot of them transition to storyboarding or character design, which is also valid. And so I'm trying to get like future proof where I'm gonna like say like, hey, yeah, this is happening. Maybe we should prepare doing this, and this. And if it's the case, we can pivot like this way, etc. So I'm very on top of all of this because this is a very common question. And for now, there are no actions that need to be taken. And if there will be in the future, I'll make sure to be the first one to be like, hey, I think we need to start thinking about this. Yeah, you're welcome. It's a great question. I think it's very valid and it's very interesting to think about those things. And I mean, AI, like for example, whatever you create in terms of 2D art in AI right now, you cannot copyright. So a lot of the big studios, they they don't use it because of copyright issues, and the smaller studios, they're gonna use Midjourney to like do backgrounds, characters, but as soon as they wanna do something for the audience that will be released for a client, they won't be able to use, so they're gonna hire someone to redo. So it's kind of gonna be the same. The only difference they're gonna come like, hey, I want this, and then instead of coming with like rough ideas. So yeah, still not concerning. Are there any talks or events you're planning on seeing, get better understand of where this all heading? I've been like constantly on Google. I have a friend that is taking a class into like AI, the whole AI runaway cinematography stuff. We're like talking pretty often, and I'm just like researching, like being on top of what OpenAI is doing and all the other like Midjourney. I know there's like a lot of for sound and stuff. So for now, I'm just gathering information. I think it's like so early on that even if there's a talk, unless it's from one of those big companies, it's a lot of speculation, and I'm kind of like creating my own speculation at the moment. I'm not. I should be more. I'll post it if I find something like, hey, there's a cool talk on YouTube or there's this event. I'm pretty sure on GDC a lot of people are gonna talk about this, so I'm gonna talk about what they're saying as well. And yeah, cool. More questions, more concerns. AI is coming to every career, so I think keeping that in mind is not thinking it's just animation, a good mindset. Yeah, yeah, that's true. And AI is coming for a lot of good things as well. For example, I recently met this friend, and he is like a head of a not doctor, but like head of like a health thing department, and AI is helping them decide which patient needs more emergent care instead of like going manually and checking every one of them because before, and it's like something very scary because before they had to go like by hand on all of it and like to see each one should be the one taking the immediate care, and sometimes they were too late, which is like extremely sad. And now with AI, that is helping a lot because AI can just like suggest and they double check, and they really can like act faster on like that patient, like actually save that person for like just because of the human time of checking everything. AI is just like, so it's like a very good use of AI that people don't even know about it, but it's being used and it's being used very good. He's like the head of the department, and he's just like, yeah, this is helping us a lot because they have the same amount of patients, and it's like imagine a list of 1,000, and you need to see, and there's like what is the name, like lung, I know the terms in Portuguese, sorry, but yeah, something on the lungs. And he's like, oh yeah, like the AI can sort it out based on like all the values of how like the respiratory system is working, blood exams, etc., etc., and they can sort out who needs like the immediate care. So that was pretty cool. General question: what controller you use to animate pelvis? It depends on the rig. If I'm using an IK spine, I usually use the bottom IK controller. For example, on this character here, we can go back on the screen. I have the COG, which I use as the COG, so the character's gonna jump. Phew. And then I use this one as pelvis. On the case of this one, the pivot is in the wrong place. I already talked to the rigger, and this is being fixed. The pivot should be here, and that is the pelvis controller. So I use this one, like if I wanna do a weight shift, I'm gonna use like the COG here, and then she's gonna come to this side, and I'm gonna use the pelvis, which will have the right pivot position here. Yeah, with the wrong position, you kind of need to like translate and stuff. So that, for example, is what I use for the pelvis. I use COG for rotation for a long time. Is it bad in studio? What do you mean COG for rotation? I mean, if you do like this, I think it's counter animating a lot. I would check there's some other classes that also do demos. There's a weight shift class. I think it shows well how I approach the the pelvis and the COG rotation. I tend to simplify my COG. Like I don't do much. I still do rotational COG, but I don't do as much compared to. I got excited animating here. I don't do as much compared to the hips, because the hips they have a lot of weight shift here. They tell me on Monday. It's a bad habit. Yeah, just I avoid counter animating as much as I can. So I tend to simplify my controllers and my curves. I mean, there are like many examples of me animating. If you want like something specific, just let me know and I can try to point to a video. Cool. What do you guys think about the eye tracker tool? I actually really like. I think it was a good idea. And now our character is moving. Just like that. See? This just like AI. You just ask for something and it's done. So do we need AI to replace? Other the weight shift video is yeah, AI5, thank you. Yeah, that's a good tip. Check the lecture list on Discord and you can see every module, every lecture. Other question I had about style. How do you start developing and recognize a style if that is even valid to purposefully trying to develop? Developing a style is something a lot more senior principal level animator, like the head of animation and the supervisors on a feature film, and the principal animator and the senior animators on a game studio, they are the ones developing the style. I did suggest us to have a module about that in the past, and I'll suggest it again because it is something valid. As students, what we can do is be inspired for the style you like to animate the most and try to animate on this style. But developing a complete new thing is something that you need to have all your basic understanding really nailed down. You really need to understand animation, and then you just start developing your specific style for a specific purpose based on several different factors. You can even, when you're in a studio like that, you can even change the character design and the way things are being lighting and render and stuff. So I when I was studying, I was always being inspired by things that I liked animating, and I liked the final result. So I think that is the best way to go, and trying to get the understanding of animation, like the principles and stuff. Cool. don't wanna hold you guys for too long. If you have any more questions, I'll be
Hello?
back. Yes,
Hello?
I can hear you.
Yes, yeah. I don't know a lot about like how the studios work. Like if a studio says we outsource work, like what does it mean?
Okay, I have a question here for people on the stream. If a studio says outsource work, what does that mean? So basically, outsource is when the work is not being done in-house. So they're hiring someone from outside of the studio, and that's a contractor. So that's what outsource means. In bigger studios, it means like you're not gonna get the benefits of being a full-time employee. You're gonna be hired to do a specific task, and that's this task is gonna be outsourced from that studio to you. Of course, the studios can also outsource to different studios. For example, the most recent example is DreamWorks announced that they're gonna outsource part of their new movie to a different studio. So that means that they're gonna get a section of it and just send to someone else to do. But when you're an outsourced animator, it means that you're not gonna be part of the core like company-wide meetings, or you're not gonna be part of like company events and things. You're gonna be only doing specific animations. We have some outsourced animators at Riot, and they don't have the same benefits. They don't need to go to the same meetings. They're just there to do the task. So we send the task, they do the task, and then that is like the dynamic how it works.
So is it good to like actually work in a studio itself? Then like is it also affects on the salary? Like the one who is working in a big studio is paid more rather than the outsourced animator.
It depends. Usually outsource is a way for the studio to cut costs, yes. So the question was like, is it better to work in a full studio or being an outsource? Is the one working on the studio gonna be paid better? So it all depends. For example, at Riot, outsourced animators are paid more than staff animators, but they have less benefits. But in general, the outsource concept, it is to cut costs and it will be paid less. But if you have the choice, I think choosing to be part of the studio is better. But I think it's a good option to have to be an outsource because you're gonna have a job. If you're on the position of choosing, then I think choosing like to be full time is a good idea. But it's not bad to be outsourced, and if you have an offer, it's good. Like it's already good. Uh,
Thank you for answering.
of course. Do you have any class on using the graph editor and tips for the curves you do? Something like this? Uh, I I don't have a specific graph editor class, but most of my demos I use both graph editor and the timeline. I might make a bonus lecture of like how the graph editor works on his core, but I usually mix a lot. For example, this weight shift, I didn't even open the graph editor to do this because I kinda understand the timeline, but I could go over and do the same on the graph editor, getting like axis by axis, like how I wanted to go down, and maybe I can go like set a key here, go up, but I don't think I have anything graph editor specific. And all Indian studios has clients that are outsourced, like Oscar outhouse. Rockstar India is in-house example. I was wondering if you'll be good to do a master study on the kind of gameplay a student wants to replicate so that you can reference when critiquing a student's work for Diamond. Mm. Yeah, I mean that will be good. I think for the Diamond for like this new module, we are following a set style already. If someone wants to follow a different style, but we get like on GF1 when we first talked about the reference we had, it was like a 2D side scroller, cartoony pushed style with like interesting, like iconic poses, similar to Rayman and Ori and the Forest Lights. We had like a few references, but as soon as we start getting the diamonds animators, we're gonna have more conversations about it as well. A master studying sync sketch, breaking down the keys, breakdown, etc. Yeah, I could do that. And if you find an outsourced studio, not really. I do not know. Shelly Scarf, which rig is there? Are you working for a new project? If you, yeah, if you missed the beginning, this is the rig that will be available for the students of the Diamond tier for Patreon for our new tier. So this is our exclusive rig. It's still proxy, so it's being worked it's in process. In addition to the Patreon videos, do you have any content to discuss about rhythm? Not yet. I'll talk more about rhythm. I saw there was like a big discussion about it on Discord recently, and I'll try to talk more about it. It is a very hard concept to get. It's a lot of like the feeling, but I'll try to break down as much as I can for like for better understanding. Yeah, so we can go here. Cool. In future, can you please make a class for fight scene between two characters? I'd like to know how to make an interesting shot with just a simple reference. How can we improve it? Yes, it is on the plans to have like a cool finisher, like a finisher like in game where you meet the boss and you do like a this one is actually planned, and I thought about like a more feature film because feature film doesn't have a lot of fighting, so I'm focusing more on the acting for feature film. And for game, I think it would be cool to have like a finisher, like a kill where you meet the boss and then you have like this whole cinematic moment where like they fight and like dynamic cameras, and then you need to press the button on like a right time, and then you have like a nice kill animation. Cool. I guess that is it. I'm still here if you have any questions. I'm checking the chats, but I believe that's all. I'm gonna recap everything for everyone who came in later and to finish it up. So today we had the announcement of Diamond Animator, the new tier of Patreon, and we're gonna have exclusive weekly classes Q&A about the lecture, daily classroom conversations for these members, working together time and bonus challenge, really having the class feeling, and it's gonna be a set schedule of classes, 12 weeks term, and you're gonna follow along with the lectures, the weekly lectures. Here's our Intro to Game Animation Plus, where we're gonna spend a good chunk of this module really doing a cool character intro. I really want to make something that is really gonna stand out and introduce this new character. And then after we're gonna finish the game we started on GF1, implementing more things like a hit react, a death animation, jump, double jump, and reviewing our assets just so we can finish it up. And this new module, we're gonna the animators from this module is gonna have access to this new exclusive rig. She's game ready, so we're gonna do all the game stuff with her. Still proxy, it will change a little bit, having like armor and stuff. But like we're seeing here, she is ready to be used, and yeah, that is a good question. I believe you can do GF1 in Unity, but I do not have a Unity experience, so I don't know how. I never tried Unity before, but I believe you can because I use another engine at work, at Riot, and I could like get the same theory behind what I wanted to do and put in Unreal. It was just hard to find where things live in different engines, but the animation side of it, I knew what I wanted to do, so I actually could do it in Unreal. So it should be good. Yeah, Unity is still still being used in a lot of studios, but I feel like because of like the mobile games like you're mentioning and some like 2D side scroller, Unity was better before or something like that. But I see Unreal taking more of the market. So it's kind of like using way back in the day using Maya and 3D Max, and then for animation we saw Maya like dominating, and then 3D Max went more into like architecture visualization routes. So I kind of see that way where Unity is probably gonna have its specific use, but I see Unreal dominating a little bit more the market. Every job opening I see, like 80% of it's Unreal. So that's why I chose Unreal. Which class could help me get a job? Do you think it's necessary to go abroad to get a job right now? I mean, which class is gonna depend on your level and how much experience you have, and then you can just check what is missing on your reel. I think all of the classes could help you get a job, but it depends on how you're gonna do it, of course. And I don't think it's necessary for you to go abroad to find a job. There are a lot of remote opportunities, and depending where you're located, there might be some local jobs as well. So it depends, of course. Like here in the US, in LA specifically, the industry is very hot right now. A lot of layoffs happening, a lot of local people looking for jobs. So it might be harder to find something local here, but there are a lot of remote opportunities that don't doesn't need you to go abroad. But it's variable on like a lot of different things, like your level, where you are, how the industry is where you are, etc. Hey, how about freelance as an animator? Freelancing is good. It happens a lot. There are some some websites that you can find freelance. It's good for like one-off things, like you do it and then maybe you're gonna have this client and then you freelance for a different client and you're gonna have like a few studios that you always freelance and then you don't need like a full-time job. I have friends that live just freelancing, so it's not a bad idea. If you can find it, I think it's good. And there's that spreadsheet, like a big spreadsheet with a lot of like job openings. You could take a look in there. Some of them are also freelance. There's also the animation framework they just released. It's from Lupin House. I haven't tried yet. I haven't signed up. I don't know. I don't think, honestly, I don't think it's worth to pay for the membership yet because I don't know how much studios are gonna actually trust like that database. I feel like LinkedIn's still the best place to find a job, but it is a really nice initiative, and I think it will be cool if this takes off. But for now, I would try to hold back into like paying a membership or something like this. How can we find the first job as a junior? It's it's tough. The moment in the industry right now, it's a little bit hard for juniors, but you need to apply everywhere you see a junior mid level and try to improve your reel as you keep applying. Always keep trying to get better and better because like everyone always wants someone like to pay like someone really good and pay as a junior. So just try to keep getting better and keep applying to everything you see, but there's no there's no really like right or wrong answer. I remember when I started, I have a stream as well about my career, but for me it was just like applying for smaller studios back in Brazil, applying for a studio. There was a studio in Argentina, and I was just doing like those one project kind of things. Studios in Russia, I remember Wizard in Russia. There was another one also in Russia for like TV series. So I was getting a lot of those little things, and with that I was building more experience. Uh, how many years it takes to become mid? It depends on how much your reel shows. I can see some people straight out of school with a mid-level reel, and I can see some people few years in the industry, like 4 years, and they're getting to mid-level right now. So it depends on like how you push yourself and how much you focus on quality and how much your reel shows. But I would say at least a year for sure if you're studying full time or if you're working somewhere. Before that, I think you'll have to be very exceptional to be like out of this curve because there's a learning curve. For me, it took probably like 2 to 3 years, maybe even more, because it was like a year plus studying and then getting those jobs as like smaller studios. And then I think after like 2.5 years, I was starting to get into mid-level. Sorry for the question, but when does the demo reel come out on Patreon? Which demo reel you're talking about? The student showcase? If it's the student showcase, it always comes out in November around CTN time. CTN is the event. Oh, which one? Oh, I see here. Oh, I forgot. Sorry. This one is coming out today. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. Yep. Don't be afraid to ping me sometimes. Some of the stuff slips my mind. And yeah, I replied it. Yeah, I'm sorry. I totally forgot. Thanks for bringing it up. I've been joining several studios as a freelancer and full time, but they have the same situations. The device job not fair. There's someone has a lot of shots to do, but someone has nothing to do. Yeah, the industry is like that. It is it is hard. I've been through the same. What you can do is always do your best on whatever you have and try to just do just be the best person, the best animator you can because I had situation where I was doing like more than double than other animators, being paid less, and still like people wouldn't recognize. It's it is hard. Do you think I still looking for a job as 3D animator? I don't know if I'm still looking or if you're still looking. I'm checking Shelly Scarf. I did not understand the last question. See. If I'm looking, no. If you're looking, if you think it's like worth looking, yes, I think the industry is not dying. Still, still worth, still gonna have jobs out there. If that's the question, yeah, I don't think you should give up. I think it's a good opportunity to get ready for the next wave of hiring. I am not looking for a job, if you're asking. I'm happy at Riot. And if you're looking for a job, just keep looking, keep improving. If you don't have a job, keep improving, making new shots to make your reel better. It's crazy because I do supervise sometimes, and we need better animator. It's not like they're like that's the thing. When I'm supervising some like freelancing, for example, we have like animators available because the industry is it has a lot of animators available. But for the kind of job it is, for example, people who got laid off from Riot or DreamWorks, they don't fit because they're overqualified, the prices, the budget is different. But people who are more junior, the quality is still not to the standard we need. So we have a really hard time finding animators for the project I supervise because it's like the mix between like very good quality but not as expensive as a Disney DreamWorks animator, if you know what I mean. But it's still a very nice quality because it's so bored if you go the student has nothing to do. Uh, I mean, if you go the student has nothing to do, you should find something to do that would improve your opportunity to go to a studio that you're more excited about doing things. So I always try to find the opportunity on where you are. Cool. Yeah, but I think that's it. We can wrap it now. I I actually did Matej. I did a couple of times actually. You can rewind a little bit the live, but it's this slide here. Oh, and but you can just like rewind. I talk in the beginning and then towards the end as well. And about pricing still to be announced, but it's gonna be something in between what Platinum and Academy is. So be ready for like about $300 a month for a 3 month commitment or 250, 275. I'm still like getting the specifics there. I'm gonna put a I'm gonna ask around and it's gonna be something like it. Cool. Well, I guess that's it. I'm gonna wrap it here. Thanks everyone for showing. Thanks everyone who watched it and came on this Saturday morning for me, night for some people. Nikita going to sleep. Yeah, thank you for coming, for joining, and I will see you guys on Discord. Feel free to ask any questions you have there. This live will be recorded and it will be posted. It is recorded. You can rewatch on YouTube. It's gonna be posted on Patreon right now for everyone. And any questions, concerns, just let me know. I'm really excited to start this soon with our new rig. Cool. Thank you, and I'll see you guys very soon.